Looking for advice on approaching a conversation with my partner about possible cheating. 38F and he is a 40M. We have been together 8 years. 3 kids, 3 pets, 2 homes. We don't live together due to the kids being teenagers in separate school districts. We plan to move in together once one of them graduates in a couple years. We still spend a lot of time together at each other's houses. I love him deeply, more than I thought possible. I feel loved by him. He is affectionate toward me, tells me he loves me often, does big and little favors/gestures, splits chores with me, is a great father. He listens calmly during disagreements and doesn't raise his voice. But when he's confronted with something he knows he did wrong, he gets defensive. He spins it and I leave the conversation feeling like I'm the only one in the wrong. So I'm hesitant to bring this up face to face due to my own anxiety. I am autistic and have trouble articulating verbally, so when stress is added to the situation I get frustrated and can't speak, sometimes spin into a panic attack. And if he is feeling defensive or nasty, he takes that opportunity to tell me I'm too emotional or being unreasonable. In the beginning of the relationship, we had some issues with him talking to other women and flirting or being sexual, hiding the fact that we're together so he appears single to them. He never took full accountability for his actions and my resentment grew. Each time, he left enough doubt in my mind that maybe I was also in the wrong and I stayed through things I probably should not have. I'm not sure if that makes much sense, but it's hard to fully explain without making this post even longer. Sigh. I know a lot of people say that when you have issues that big or feel the need to check up on your partner, the relationship is already over. I do not feel that things are always that cut and dry for me, and I know I have some past traumas that affect how I handle situations like these. I'm really trying to balance being true to myself with what I should do. During our last and biggest issue like this, I found out he went on a date with another woman and lied about going out with work friends. At that time, I felt similar to how I do right now. I took the time to think about my actions and what I wanted to say. I typed a long text to him because his phone was turned off while he was out with her, and basically broke up with him, explained how he had been making me feel with this behavior through the years, how much I loved him and was sad that this was how it ended. Apparently this woke him up and he came clean, actually took some accountability, and apologized profusely. We were separate for months. He agreed to go to counseling and admitted he seeks validation from other women because his confidence is so low. After that, he seemed to put in the effort to help our relationship recover. He became transparent about his actions and intentions, stayed off of social media, and put in effort to rebuild trust. I stopped checking his phone, even though I had permission to, because I decided if I was going to trust him, I needed to trust him. This was all about 3 or 4 years ago. Fast forward to now. He works a job with a lot of downtime. He spends a lot of time scrolling Facebook at work on his computer there. He mostly browses marketplace and groups about his hobbies. He has never been one to care about social media, never posts anything, doesn't even have a profile photo. But he now has the Messenger app on his phone. I heard the notification dinging last night and it shook me because if he cares about a conversation enough to put Messenger on his phone after all these years of having a Facebook account. Well, I saw the notification on the home screen and the name was female. So this morning I investigated. I broke my long abstinence of looking at this man's phone. Since the majority of their conversation took place on the work computer, I can't see it all due to the encryption. But I could see a message from him to her saying, "I need to get you to a movie. There are some good ones coming out soon." Now, I know this man very well. I know that he will probably say this is platonic, they're old friends, blah blah blah. A grown-ass man should be able to make plans with a female friend and I shouldn't be so insecure about him having friends. But in my opinion, my insecurity is based on his past actions, and this should have been something he came to me about if it was truly innocent. And therefore, I believe he's hinting at a date and not a platonic hangout. Further, I am aware that I am also guilty of breaking the trust by looking at his messenger in the first place. And for all those reasons, I feel like this definitely needs addressed. The thought of ending this relationship deeply saddens me. I don't know if it can be saved, but I wish/hope that it can. I have considered typing out my feelings again, since I feel like I can articulate myself better that way and actually have a chance to get it all out before having a panic attack and spiraling. I have considered leaving it somewhat open-ended, as in not exactly breaking up at the moment, but stating that I need some time to myself and that I am feeling disrespected, and here's why. I want to encourage him to reflect on whether I am the person for him or if he is always going to seek validation from other women. I want him to know that I am hurting and that even though I love him, I'm having doubts about him right now. I know that I am incredibly weak. You have no idea how much I wish I could be one of those strong women who just walks away when a situation hurts. I want to be enough, and I think I've been self-sacrificing, chasing that feeling of him realizing he fucked up and doesn't want to lose me. Maybe I will never get that. Maybe he will say absolutely nothing that I want to hear and I will have to walk away. I just need some help with knowing if I am overreacting, underreacting, approaching this in the right way. I know his confidence is down right now because his doctor told him he needs to have his testosterone checked at his next appointment. He hasn't had a good month at work and is feeling defeated because of that also. A lot of his self-worth is determined by him feeling like a man and a provider, so I'm wondering if these things are related. Not that that makes it okay, just that it could tie into me possibly overreacting. My head is spinning and I'm worried if I didn't get this post out there, I would not even be able to compose my thoughts a few hours from now. I appreciate any advice, and even if I fall asleep and have to read replies as I get ready for work tomorrow, please know I am reading and thanking you, even if I don't have time to respond right away. My BF and I have been together 9 months. We knew each other for many years before we got together, but we weren't in each other's lives, so I don't know everyone in his life and vice versa. At the moment, we live 5 hours apart and spend about half our time together. He went to the cinema today to see a film I recommended. I didn't know he was going until he texted me a pic of the film title as it was starting. Hours later, after the film, he calls me and we chat. I ask him did he go by himself and he says no. He lists a couple of friends who I know and then says also asterisk Hannah and her partner. I mention that I don't think I've met Hannah and he responds. Hannah my ex. You know, Hannah. We lived together. About 5 years ago. On XYZ Road. You know the place with. He then goes on to further describe the area where they live together. I am not from where he lives and, ostensibly, he was just helping me to place where he was talking about. I added the ellipses because there was a lot of pausing and hemming and ehing while he was talking. I didn't really respond while he was telling me this. I just said oh right at the end and we talked a bit about the movie until I said I felt too tired and out of sorts to continue talking. I genuinely was too tired to address my feelings then, but I do fully intend to bring this up with him. My issue is not that I think he was cheating. I'm not paranoid, he was there with multiple people, one of them being the ex's new partner. My issue is that I am consistently left out of the loop. I always feel behind in information with him, and I have told him this many times. More than once I have found out about plans he has made for the two of us from other people mentioning them to me. I think going to the cinema with his ex is something that could be mentioned to me beforehand. Finding out after the fact makes me feel really unimportant. And I only found out because I asked. I had to ask both who he went with and who Hannah was. Sometimes it feels like I'm digging and digging for the simplest bits of info. I have an anxiety disorder. So this lack of transparency is incredibly destabilizing. But also, I have an anxiety disorder. I'm worried that I am making mountains out of molehills with my sensitivity and overthinking. How can I approach this and get him to understand how it feels to be left in the dark so often?